let me get back to a point that was on my mind. There are always people who really do think that they know what's best for me. And they'll explain it to me. You know, and sometimes I make a choice that might not fit other people's belief systems or thoughts or ideals about things. But it's my choice. It's what I want to do. And I'm in compliance with every rule and every law of all the powers. Because there are people who have power to enforce rules. You know, if I'm driving down the expressway and the speed limit is 65, I'm going to go 65. I'm not going to go above that. If I have to file my income tax by April 15th, it will be filed by April 15th. Hopefully before that time. If I can't put pictures of myself butt naked on YouTube, then I won't do it. If there was another channel that allowed me to do, and there are some channels that do allow you to do that, I'd still don't do that. I don't have any desire to do that anyway. But there are people who think that they know what's best for you. People who don't have authority. They are not in a position of authority, but they want to tell you all day long what you should or should not be doing. You know, authority is a funny thing because that's the thing right there. Authority. What gives you the authority over me? You know, I think about something that Einstein said. And I'm always quoting Einstein. But this was something he said about prohibition. It was something that it was in reference to prohibition. He said that nothing undermines authority more than creating rules and laws that you cannot enforce. Now, I think about that. There are people who are always creating rules and laws on YouTube. And they can't enforce it. Some people try to bully you and they try to intimidate you into compliance with their way of thinking. They have their own personal agenda. And they want you to be in alignment with that agenda. And I encounter that. I really do. But I think that one thing is true. A lot of people have come to respect me. They understand I'm going to speak my mind. And I don't bully other people into thinking as I think. If you think different from me, fine. It's perfectly okay for you to think different. I don't have any kind of problems with that. I have no problem with people who think different, who see the world differently. As long as you respect my space, I respect your space, we're all good to go. It's all good. But you know, people who feel that they have to go a little bit further than just persuading me, when they get to the point where, okay, you've made your point, now let's move on to something else. But no, they don't do that. They keep on and on and on. And then they got to step it up a little bit more. Then they start with threats. First they start with veiled threats. Then they start with actual threats. And then it escalates to even more uglier things. I had this problem with someone who was doing that. It didn't get to the point of threats, but it was getting more and more hostile. But there are some people who just, you know, they cannot tolerate people who have a different way of seeing the world. You know, I mean, I try not to be like that. I try not to be the person who is just totally intolerant of somebody else having a different point of view. There are things I don't tolerate. I mean, I would not tolerate someone being violent toward me. I would not tolerate someone disrespecting me. But just because you have a different point of view or a different perspective or a different way of looking at things or a different way of dealing with a problem, you know, that I'm not an intolerant person. That's one thing for sure. I don't have this high level of intolerance. One thing I try to do is I try to either understand your point of view or at the very least say, okay, you believe that and I believe this. And since we can't really agree, let's just be in peace. Let's live in peace. That's what's important to me. Because if you feel like you can't live in peace, then what else are you going to do? Are you going to enforce a rule that you have in your mind? That you think I should act a certain way? And you're going to enforce that? As Einstein said, nothing undermines authority more than creating rules and laws that you cannot enforce. Just think about that.